Well, hello once again. It's Bruce Saunderson again, just to share what God has been doing in Indonesia. You'll remember from the last video, we were talking about what the Lord had been doing in Medan, and I just want to go over a little bit more of what He's doing in Medan before we go to the area of Sigol, Penanganan, and Sumbul or Sumbul. I just can't think of the other area, but bear with me anyway. But first of all, I'd just like to acknowledge two particular people. One is my translator, Marvin Siahan, and his wife, Ruth. And there's also Sandy Pakpahan. Now, Sandy is in Penanganan, and Marvin and Ruth are in Medan. And you'll see a photo here of them from September 2013. Which was when I first met them. And they worked with me painting the first church, which was in Medan, for Pastor David Maripan. And it was interesting because one of the things that Marvin said to me while we were working was, Bruce, I don't just want to be a pastor, I also want to be a painter. And I found that rather amusing at the time, and I couldn't understand why. But over the period of time, Marvin came to me a few years later, and this is very exciting for me because God's not into titles. He's into a soft heart, an obedient spirit. And Marvin came to me and said, Bruce, I don't want to be a pastor anymore. I just simply want to be what God wants me to be. And to me, that was amazing, because this man has given his life for the gospel. He has been obedient, and he has been loyal to me. The Lord took him and Ruth away for a short season and put him in another area, in another mission actually. But that whole reason for that was to teach him the business side of things, because he has to learn how to actually work with governments and rules and regulations and so forth. So there was a teaching for him, but there's also in that time a stretching for me, because 3 days before I go on a mission trip, all of a sudden I find out I don't have a translator, which was very challenging, I can tell you. But God provided everything. He did provide everything. And on that trip, I'll actually share all the things that He'd done, which will be on a future video. And there's also a photo there of Marvin and Ruth's sister Yana and myself having lunch on the last trip. So you'll see Marvin in 2013, and then you'll see him as a married man in 2020. You'll also see a video there from Sandy Pakpahan, which I'll talk about somewhere else. But they were the two that the Lord wanted me to actually mention. Now, while we're in Medan, we also, 3 trips ago, I had a phone call from a pastor. His name is Pastor Joshua. And he runs a church in Medan, which has a youth group. And he had heard about me and what the Lord was doing. And he rang and wanted to have dinner with me one night. So I said, yeah, no problem. So anyway, we met at the Sun Plaza, and we were having dinner. And of course, he's asking me all these questions. Within about half an hour, he asked me if I'd preach on the following Sunday. I said, yeah, no problem. So anyway, I went and shared the word. But the interesting thing was what the Lord said to Joshua while I was there. And you know, as you've heard on the last video, what the Lord spoke to me was He has chosen the youth of Indonesia to pour out His Spirit. And the older generation are wandering around in the wilderness. Well, this day that I was with Joshua, I actually said to Joshua, I said, Pastor Joshua, the Lord has told me that He has chosen the youth of your church here. He's going to pour out His Spirit, and He's going to raise them up. And He's going to do it with you or without you. So you either need to get on board or get out of the way, because He's going to do it with or without you. And it actually shocked me that these words come out of my mouth. But the interesting thing was, it shocked Pastor Joshua too. And he was taken aback by it. But 3 days after I got home, I got I got an email from Pastor Joshua. And I won't share what was in the video, but basically, he was acknowledging everything that the Lord had said to him. And he was giving his heart back to the youth. And you'll see a video in here of the youth group. I've shared the word at Pastor Joshua's church. Wow, in 3 trips, I think about 5 or 6 times. He has a youth group there, great bunch of youth. Every time I go there, we go for home visits, home ministries, share with the youth group, teaching with the youth group, and of course the Sunday services. So you'll see a video there of the youth group actually praising and worshipping the Lord. And the reason I've chosen this one is because it's got some English in it. And yeah, the main reason I'm doing this video is to share what God is doing. So you'll see the youth group there. You'll see Marvin, Ruth, Sandy, etc. And on the next video, we will be going to a place called Sigol, and I'll explain everything about that. And then on the video after that, we'll be going to a place called Peranganan. Now that Peranganan is in the Humberhus area, and that's the area where Sandy is. Now, interestingly, with Sandy, he had been asking me for, well, I think about 3 years, Bruce, please come to my village. Bruce, please come to my village. And actually, Marvin was the same. So the first couple of years was actually spent in Medan and Brastagi. And both of these guys kept asking me, Bruce, please come to my village. And my standard answer to them every time was, when God wants me there, we will go there. So these 2 guys stood in faith, waited patiently for God to move. And that's why He's chosen both of these guys. The interesting thing is that both of them don't have a title. Both of them don't have a title. They don't want the title. They simply want to be a son of God and be obedient. And what God is doing through these 2 guys is amazing. And here's the video now of the youth group at Pastor Joshua's church.
I
So with that, God bless, and I'll speak to you again shortly. Bye.